Coming up on This Week, Next Week, Chris Waller saddled up both Group 1 winners on Saturday at Randwick, including the Very Elegant Stakes, for the first time since the race was renamed in honour of his champion mare. Waller will stop by to chat about an incredible day at headquarters, not to mention the next wave of superstars he will unleash on Randwick Guineas Day.
Hello, I'm Ray Thomas and welcome to This Week, Next Week. Corey Brown alongside me for a big show. Chris Waller will join us a little later after the stable's big day at Royal Randwick last Saturday. Corey, Group 1 racing at its best, wasn't it?
It's great.
Yeah.
Great to have it back. I love the Group 1s.
Yeah, Via Sistina, just the superstar. Fangirl, brave in defeat.
Very, very brave. I thought she actually had her there for a while. Yeah. About the 150 metre mark, I thought, oh, she's gonna have the drop on her, but Via Sistina, too tough.
Exactly. We'll get to the Very Elegant Stakes very shortly. Let's get straight into our replays. A lot to look at from Randwick last Saturday, including Rivellino. He's 3 starts, he's 3 wins. He'll be one of the few unbeaten 2-year-olds going into the Golden Super. He's just got a terrific chance.
He's sort of like a little bit of a forgotten horse,
yeah.
Ray. No one really talks about him. His last 2 wins have been big. That there on the weekend I thought was really good. The speed was just really snail's pace down the back. Popped out 3 wide. He's a versatile horse, but I thought it was a good, tough win.
And the fact that you made mention of the pace, it was very slow early, so he had to come from behind. A lot of merit to that performance. That race was run at a totally different way to the Sweet Embrace, which was a pretty decent, solid tempo up front. This really within the law. Only suffered 1 defeat in the 4 starts. That was to Rivellino in the English Millennium. That's her in the white colours out wide, about to unleash Corey.
Another really good, tough win, Ray. The speed was, like you said, totally different to the Skyline. They went at a decent clip, which allowed her to get back and really rip home. But what about that stable?
Yeah,
Beyond Baker, it's just absolutely on fire at the moment. Everything they tip out, it's winning.
It certainly is. On to the Guy Walter Stakes, and it's been a while since Amelia's Jewel has won. Here she is first up, jumped straight to the front, classes above these, Corey.
Just classes above, but this was a great J-Mac ride. You know, like this horse has never been in front, you know, from the start in its life. And J-Mac jumped well and just decided to take the race by the scruff of the neck and took total control of it, and it's just good to see her back to her best. Yeah,
and she was at her best there, and she's got a big autumn ahead of her. On to the Surround Stakes. We mentioned Group 1 racing was back. Wasn't this a contest? Lady Shenandoah versus Lady of Camelot, who was brave in defeat.
She was big, the Lady of Camelot. Same with Lady Shenandoah. She was... the more I watched the race, Ray, the more she impressed me. Like, she's been super impressive, obviously, in a short career so far, but she's just got a little bit of freak about her, I think, this horse. And, Lady of Camelot was tough. Very, very tough.
We'll talk to Chris Waller a little later about his plans for Lady Shenandoah. We'll also talk to Chris about the stables 1, 2, 3 in the Very Elegant Stakes. Via Sistina from Fangirl and Lindemann. What a race this was.
Great race, small field. They can be tricky races to ride, you know, and navigate, but J-Mac found the right spot. Jace Collett, Fangirl, had the drop on her. I thought she had her about the 150 metre mark, but that's when the class just kicked in. And, Lindemann, he ran a blinder.
He's going great. I thought Arapahoe's run to run. 5th for a stayer. Rising 9-year-old, and that's him in the blue colours powering through.
I'll tell you what really did run well in that race is Faulkner Park.
Yes, Faulkner Park, a good run as well, On to the Liverpool City Cup, and you mentioned the Bjorn Baker stable earlier in Derby racing. They're having a tremendous run, and their horses are just finding ways to win. Here's Iona Merck sneaking up on the inside.
Ray, I've watched this replay, I reckon, 10 times, and I still can't see where this horse has got into the front. Honestly, it's just freakish, like getting up on the inside. Like even the slow-mo, it looks like the horse on the outside still held on. But full credit to the training and efforts as well as the ride. Joshy Parr.
Gringotts run for 3rd.
Terrific.
Had the flashing light on it. It was a terrific run. Group 1 racing at Flemington last Saturday, and a young trainer named Dominic Sutton only had his first runner less than 12 months ago. Here he is training his first Group 1 winner. Terrific rise to the top by Dominic Sutton and Feroce.
Billy Egan?
Yeah.
Was it his first Group 1?
His second Group 1.
Second, was it? Yeah, because I wasn't sure whether he'd had a Group 1, but just another good, tough effort.
Yeah, good win by Feroce. A couple of horses maybe a touch unlucky behind them, but you make your own luck in those big races, and Feroce certainly did. The Provincial and Country Championship qualifiers in full swing. Great finish at Newcastle on Saturday. Paul Murray's Welcome to Barbados gets up in the last ride.
Yeah, it was a good finish too, Ray. It's a good story too. I think they only paid $600 or $700 for the horse. So got him into the championships, which is really good. You know, a couple of unlucky runners. Young Andy Atkins got left in front, I think, just a little bit too far from home. But Chrissy Lee's runner there that runs second.
Lord of Biscay, nice horse.
It probably should have won the race. It was very unlucky, travelling 3 wide the entire.
Yeah, I know Chris has always had an opinion of that horse. He might definitely be one to follow. Out at Orange, we had a Country Championships qualifier, and this lady, Gaynor Williams, she's always got a good horse. Riz Tycoon.
She's been a great trainer over the years, hasn't she? And I think it's the 7th runner that she's had qualify.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a feat in itself, but that was a good win. He's a massive horse, that horse. I can't wait to see him.
Holds his head high too, doesn't he? Yeah. And down at Wagga, Canny Hell for Kim Davis. This is a good, tough win and a pretty strong heat, I thought.
It was a very strong heat, Ray. Big field. There's another couple of unlucky runners, I thought, in that race, but full credit to the winner. Got out there and just,
That's one of the beauties of the Country Championship, isn't it, Corey? Trying to line all this form up from all the different regions.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a good. That's Canny Hell getting the job done. Well, Corey, let's go back to Royal Randwick last Saturday, because trainer Chris Waller had a big day winning both the Group 1s on the program, and Chris has been good enough to join us on This Week, Next Week. Chris, good evening.
Good evening, Ray. Good evening, Corey.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. Let's go straight to it in the Very Elegant Stakes. So 1, 2, 3 for the stable. Via Sistina outstanding, Fangirl second, Lindemann third. What was your take during the race? And we are reasonably confident that Via Sistina was probably in the place to take full advantage of the run and win the big one.
Yeah, I guess so, Ray. The race looked to develop pretty well. They got into nice positions. The speed was genuine, and it's a genuine Randwick mile, so you knew the business end of the race they'd start to be competitive. I think James just wanted to have a bit of room to move. He didn't want to be caught up on the fence or behind traffic, but he would have been happy where he is now, and I think Jason would have been happy following Via Sistina, hoping he could get the drop on her. So, yeah, they both angled out beautifully, balanced up and let down. Lindemann's back there, hasn't spent a penny yet, and they're all starting to get to their work now. And I thought for a fleeting moment, Fangirl had the momentum up, but then James actually said when Fangirl levelled with Via Sistina, she actually lifted. So, yeah, it was interesting and great to see.
Chris, was it by design that Fangirl was to follow Via Sistina, or was it just the way Jace ended up riding? Was it a plan, or was that just the way it unfolded?
It was the way it unfolded, Corey.
Yeah.
I think both horses had to jump well to be able to be ridden better tactically. That was against Via in her first up run, where she was just that bit slow, and Jason was able to jump that bit better and put her in a pocket. And for a little moment there, for the first 200 metres, I thought Via might have actually been caught 3 wide, but she pushed forward to avoid that and ended up getting a lovely run. And look, I think Jason would have been pretty happy with where he was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, that's her 5th Group 1 of the season, her 6th since she's joined your stable Via Sistina. I know people in the media like myself are quick to label horses a champion, but her record stacks up now. Has she earned the ultimate accolade from her trainer yet?
I guess so. Yeah, she has. Look, she's done all that in 12 months. This time last year she was in quarantine coming out from England. And I think what made her that next level was the Cox Plate win. And her lead-up runs were great. She did it in the Cox Plate. She ran time. She won by a big margin. And then she even came out and backed it up 2 weeks later with another Group 1 win. So she just stands up in pressure races, and the more pressure, the better she performs.
Are you happy that you've won this race now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, very happy. No, it's been a good race to us. Starting the spring, we worked back from targets, or ending the spring, we work towards targets, I should say, for the autumn. And Chipping Norton's an important race, second up most of these horses, and it enables me to keep them at home before they have to travel. And yeah, it just works out well each year. And yeah, I guess it's a bit disappointing to run first, second, and third when you could perhaps go to other races like the All-Star Mile with a horse like Fangirl. But there's so much in Sydney, Corey, through the autumn, and if you start bunny hopping down there and come back, you don't quite get to their peak, I don't think. And yeah, they just like a solid base to work from, and their first up runs, second up runs are so important.
How did all three pull up, Chris, and have you locked in their next starts?
They've all pulled up really well, Ray. They went out to the farm Sunday morning, which is what we normally do with these two, in particular Fangirl and Vencestino. They'll come back Wednesday. 3 weeks to their next run, it'll be Golden Slipper Day here at Rose Hill. Fangirl will go to the George Ryder, Vencestino, the Randwick, and Lindemann, probably Randwick. He could run the week before in the Sky High if we're looking to win a race and dodge the big boys and girls, but probably go the Randwick as well.
What about Lady Shenandoah? How exciting she?
Really exciting, Corey, because I still think she's developing. I would say should be the furnished product as a 4-year-old. Just got that great action, gets down low, very athletic, and relatively lightly raced. So the next 2 or 3 years are so exciting. So I haven't forgotten that and how much we have to look after to get to that stage. So I think she'll definitely have one more, Corey. Looking towards the Far Lap Stakes, I'm not a big fan of taking on the older horses in the Coolmore. Should have probably around the 54.5, 55 mark. So she'd be giving away to a lot of reasonable mares. If the form and statisticians say where she should be going there, well, we'd certainly consider it. But still sort of favouring towards the Far Lap at this stage.
Yeah, it's a race that Chris has used a lot with particularly the good fillies. I know Winks won it once when she was emerging, so we'll wait and see there. Chris, we did see two horses who didn't race on Saturday but had an exhibition gallop between races, and that was Switzerland and the comeback galloper Militarise. And are they both on track for the Canterbury Stakes this Saturday?
Yeah, they are, Ray. They didn't do a lot here. They just had a nice day out. Basically, Switzerland's Fitty ran in the Lightning first up, and he ran really well, and he'll appreciate stepping up to the 1300. Militarise, you can see there, he's got plenty of energy. It's his first run for about 12 months on Saturday after running a placing in the Doncaster, which was a brilliant run with a pretty big weight for a 3-year-old. So, yeah, they both had a good day out. They started to get close to top there. And you'd expect Militarise to need it, but I wouldn't underestimate the fact that he's fit and a very talented horse. So, yeah, it's good to have him back. He's only 4 and he's a lightly raced horse.
Chris, what about Autumn Glow? Where are we at?
It's just a matter of where we join up, Corey. So she could have ran on Saturday, but I just thought she deserves to be rock hard fit when she's taking on those better horses. So the likely resuming race is the Derby Munro, which is a 1,200 metre race in about 3 weeks' time. If we were to run in 2 weeks, she could run in the Far Lap, but again, it'd be like last Saturday. She's taking on fit horses over a distance that she's actually never ran over before. So I'd say it's the Derby Munro, and where to, I don't know.
What about another very good fillies, Chris, Aliana, who was terrific first up in the Hobartville Stakes, and she's nommed for the Randwick Guineas this weekend. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan, Ray. She started a bit later than the other fillies, so it seemed logical to try and split a few of them up. And she was really good in the Hobartville first up against the boys, and that was a pass mark for me to say she can run against the boys again. And then I'd say she'll go down a fillies path. So, yeah, the Group 1 Randwick Guineas this Saturday. and then on to the Vinery 3 weeks after that, which is 2,000 metres. And I just like the last 100 metres. She's sort of labouring a little bit there. The last 100 metres, you could sort of see her surge with the horse out wide, which is one of the favourites for the Randwick Guineas Saturday.
It was a terrific run by Eliana, finishing third there to Broadsiding and Swift Falcon. Chris, this weekend is two of the important Golden Slipper lead-ups. You've entered Woden, the Golden Slipper favourite for the Todman Stakes. How did he come through the Silver Slipper, and what's the level of confidence going into Saturday?
He's come through that run really well, Ray. He just got in a tricky spot, and Corey would know 3 wide around that 1,100 metre shoot. It's not easy. He didn't have any cover. He's sort of having to go forward because pace wasn't amazingly quick, and going back wasn't an option. He laboured for the first 200 metres of the straight, and the last 200 metres of the straight, it was, considering the run he had, it was actually pretty good. So he worked really well this morning. So confident levels ahead of Saturday are good. I'd love to see a nice draw.
Just a quick one there on Woden, Chris. A lesser 2-year-old, I guess, would have faded out of contention there, but look at his last 100. It's probably the best part of his race.
Yeah, it was, considering the run he had. He's a very good horse. Tommy Berry actually rode him this morning, and he gave a glowing report.
Have you got anything hidden away that you can tell us about?
Not really. There's not going to be anything sort of flashes, mate, I don't think. We'll have a few of the Pago and the Magic Night in terms of 2-year-olds, but Woden, he's certainly number 1 seed.
Fair enough. And just finally, Chris, of course, there's Group 1 racing this weekend at Flemington as well. You've made the decision to switch Jolie Star to Flemington for the Newmarket, along with Gatsby's, and that very good mare, Tissue, who loves Flemington, goes to the All-Star Mile.
Yeah, she runs very well at Flemington each and every time. I think she ran second to Via Sistina in the Champion Stakes over 2,000, and the week before she won the Group 1 mares race. So, and she's done it year in, year out. So yeah, getting her back to Flemington will be a big plus. And her first up run in Sydney was good. Yeah, and Jolly Star, she just had no luck from the Everest onwards. So hopefully a bit of straight racing might just mean she needs a bit less luck. She had a jump out down the straight with Damien Lane aboard last Friday, and Damien was really pleased with her work.
And you've got Gatsby's potentially the Newmarket as well, Chris?
Yeah, rough lightweight chance, Ray. He's a reasonable 3-year-old colt, not finishing far in behind them. And the Cornwall, he ran 5th, and his first up run was against the track bias where he ran on okay.
Look, Chris, congratulations again on the Group 1 double last Saturday. It was great to see Lady Shenandoah and Via Sistina do her thing. Best of luck right through the autumn, and thanks for joining us on This Week Next Week.
My pleasure, boys.
There's Chris Waller doing a great job, and they were Group 1 wins number 172 and 173.
Yeah.
Corey, get your head around that. He won his first Group 1 in 2008.
It's crazy. Yeah. Even like J-Mac, 111 now.
It's
how much... this record that he's going to set.
Yeah. And I know people argue there's more Group 1s now, and that's true, but these are two men who have been dominating not just for 1 or 2 seasons, but for a number of successive years now.
Yep.
Absolutely outstanding. And they'll have a big role to play this weekend because it is Randwick Guineas Day, and a high-class meeting once again shaping up for Royal Randwick. Think back 12 months and the emergence of a real star. His name, Celestial Legend.
Fukabano shows the way by a length and a half to Gambare. Then came Levon Pier. Now Militarised goes. Celestial Legend goes from Cafe Millennium, and Tom Kitten's cluttered up. Celestial Legend raced up to join Militarised. On the outside, Cafe Millennium. Tom Kitten looking for room. Saves in cap. It's Celestial Legend. Celestial Legend with the head in front. Celestial Legend kicking. Cafe Millennium lunges, miss. Celestial Legend. What a brave win in the Randwick Guineas.
This is how legends are made.
Rain Affair at the 300 leads. from Piero on the outside. More Joyous gets out and down the outside Souls and Edson, but Piero at the 200. Cassidy looks to his left. The great mare More Joyous is chasing at the 100, but it's Piero by a length and a half to More Joyous, Reina Fair, and it's Piero. What a horse he is. He won at 3/4 More Joyous.
Pump it, pump it, pump it.
Two champions fighting out the Canterbury Stakes. Piero beating More Joyous. What a finish that was, 2013. You had a bit to do with More Joyous over the years, Corey.
I had a couple of goes on her, yeah. She was a wonderful horse. She was so push button and
best horse you rode, or
she'd be up there with them. Yeah, definitely. She was really good. Yeah,
she was an outstanding horse, as was Piero. We'll see some outstanding horses this weekend at the Randwick Guineas Meet and get all the latest odds. Here's Tab's Tim Ryan joining us this evening. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, good evening, Ray. Yeah, big weekend at Randwick on Saturday. We've got 9 all-in markets available at tab.com.au. So let's have a look at the big ones. The Randwick Guineas kicks it off, and it looks like a bit of rain forecast in Sydney this week, so we might have a wet track, but the best back runner of the weekend is Broadsiding. He's into 160 in the Randwick Guineas, over 80% of the total hold on the race. Swift Falcon, your next pick there at 350 in front of Aliana at 450. They're the only other two that have seen any interest. The Canterbury Stakes looks almost a race of the day here. Magic Time, another one that doesn't mind it wet. She's best backed and 350 favourite. Switzerland and James McDonald, $4.50. Steffi and Sunshine in Paris have both seen some support at $6. And Cholwolf, we should get to see him on Saturday. He's an $8 chance, and there is money around for him in the Canterbury Stakes. The 2-year-olds, and Wadton's gone up a $2.50 favourite in the Todman Stakes in front of North England, who looked very good at Randwick on Saturday in a track gallop, $4.50. A little bit of early money there for King of Pop as a $15 chance in the Todman Stakes. Over to the Riesling Stakes, and Tempted back from Melbourne, where she had no luck at all in the Blue Diamond. She's a $2.80 favourite. Artistic Venture, another one that didn't see much luck last start on Saturday. She's a $6 chance in front of Belle Mercy. They're also at $6. Looking further ahead, Tab Golden Slipper betting, and Wadton remains a $3.50 chance. He's a big liability, so we haven't pushed him out. North England, a firm after that track gallop on Saturday. He looks on track to take on Woden on Saturday, 11 into 9 there. The firmers on Saturday, Bella Zane, 17 into 13. Within the Law, 26 into 13. And Rivellino, 26 into 15. They were the big firmers there on Saturday. Looking further ahead, the Doncaster Mile. Chris Wallace seems a little bit lukewarm on Lady Shenandoah taking on the older horses, but it was a firm on Saturday, 6 into $4.50. Gringotts, another eye catcher, $15 into 11 in Doncaster Mile betting. Moving on to our next Group 1 feature, the TJ Smith. Betting really quiet here. We should learn more on Saturday. But at this stage, Private Harry's best back, but Switzerland, Sunshine in Paris, and a few others there running on Saturday. And then we move on to the next Group 1, the Australian Derby. Big firm for Gold Rush Guru, third in the Australian Guineas. He's been 11 into $4.50, so he is your new outright favourite for the Australian Derby there in front of Broadsiding and Willie Do It. And a check too on the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth and Via Cicina. She firmed on Saturday, $2.30 into even money. Cholwolf, his campaign should be all right to get to the Queen Elizabeth. He's a $6 chance. And what imports are we going to see there in the Queen Elizabeth? Will it be due by honour, or will we find something out of the pack?
Which horse are you taking on this weekend, Tim?
Well, I did a fortune taking on this combination on Saturday, an absolute fortune. James McDonald and Chris Waller, but I'm going to take on Woden in the Todman. I just want to see him stand up. He was very good on debut. Form behind him really hasn't quite stacked up. I know he had excuses the other day, but $2.50, I think he's under the odds.
Fair enough. It's going to be a very important meeting this weekend in regards to the Golden Slipper, but plenty happening in the days leading up to Saturday. We're racing at Kembla Grange on Tuesday along with Scone. At Wednesday, we're at Warwick Farm, also some Newcastle barrier trials. Thursday, Grafton and Moree are our meetings, along with some trials at Rose Hill. On Friday, Newcastle Stakes Day up at Newcastle. Dubbo is racing. Saturday, Group 1 racing at Randwick, including the Randwick Guineas, a provincial midway qualifier at Hawkesbury. And on Sunday, the Country Championships at Tamworth. Who do you like this weekend, Corey?
Woden. I think it was a total forgive the other day. Obviously drew bad, didn't have any luck in the run, and still stuck to his guns pretty well. So yeah, Woden for me.
Fair enough. I think, look, Broadsiding is going to be pretty short, as Tim Ryan said, but with a bit of rain possibly around and the fact that he was so good in the Hobart Full Stakes, I think he's a horse to beat in the Randwick Guineas. On behalf of Corey Brown and I, thanks for joining us on This Week. Next week, we'll see you next Monday.